Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about part 2 of Life is a Highway. Now this part talks about gas prices. Gas prices are always changing. Your budget needs to account for the fact that gas prices may go up from one month to another. In part 1, you determined how much can be spent from your monthly budget on transportation. Now in this section, you will be writing an inequality to explore gas prices. So in a normal school year, I know we're remote learning so you're not really traveling, but in a normal school year, if you drove to school and home every day, how many miles would you drive in a month? So let's just keep it school and home for right now. Now you could add in other expenses such as work expenses, having to drive to and from work. If you know your mileage, please feel free to go ahead and use that. You can always expand these activities to your needs. All right, now because my mileage is nowhere near doable on a teenage budget, I would have to drive 60 miles round trip. I'm going to use our job, car, and mileage combo. And on this, I have 16 miles for my round trip. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to turn the 16 miles per day into miles per month. Now, in a regular school month, for example, this upcoming month of October, you would actually end up going to school about 20 days. I actually went to the calendar and counted it up. So that's why I'm going to multiply this by 20 in order to convert it to miles per month. So 16 times 20 is going to give me 320. Let me just double check that real quick. Yep, 320. For some reason, I did not trust my math mind tonight. So this would be 320 miles in a month. And remember, I use the 20 because you would have actually gone to school 20 days in the month of October, which is our upcoming month. And the month of October is a month with 31 days, and it only has a couple of holidays in it, so I figured that would be a pretty good estimate of kind of worst case scenario for how much you would have to drive in a month. Now the fuel economy in miles per gallon of the vehicle you take to school every day. Now, ironically, in my combo, this sports sedan gets 28 miles per gallon. Well, when I have a combined city and highway driving scheme, my car actually does go about 28 miles per gallon. So that actually matches the vehicle that I'm using currently. So for me, it's 28 miles per gallon. And that's what MPG stands for. Now, how many miles per gallon is your vehicle? You could look it up if you want to, or again, if you want to, you can use the combo here and actually look at your vehicle and look at how many miles per gallon it's supposed to get. Now, number 3, how many gallons of gasoline will you use every month to travel to and from school? So 28 means that I can travel 28 miles for each gallon of gas that my car uses. And I need to travel 320 miles each month. So if I go through and I take that 320 and I divide it by the 28, that is going to give me, let me see, 320 divided by 28, about 11.43. So it's approximately 11.43 gallons of gas that I would have to use. Now, if you're wondering why we're doing division here, all right, let me show you. We were dealing with 320 miles in 1 month. And I want you to think conversions like you used to do in your science class. If I want to cancel out the miles and get gallons, then when I multiply, I actually need miles to be on the bottom, gallons to be on the top. And I had just said that 28 miles per a single gallon of gas means 28 miles compared to 1 gallon. That's why my 28 is on the bottom. Now 320 times 1 is 320. 1 times 28 is 28. The miles would cancel, leaving me with gallons per month, which is how this division problem is born. And this is gallons per 1 month. All right, so you could just do the straight up division, or you can use a conversion to keep track of whether you should do division. Number 4, write an inequality with G representing the gas cost per gallon for spending no more than your chosen amount of gas in the month. Now, on the previous page, so in part 1, I had chosen to use 100, so I went for the full amount. So a teen would spend at most $100 in gas a month. So I went with the full amount because I want to be kind of active. So spending no more than your chosen amount of gas in the month, I'm going to go with the 100 gallons. Now, if you want to choose less, you could. It was no more than 100, meaning that you could have 100 or you could spend less money during the month. All right, so write an inequality with G representing the gas cost and then how much I'm spending. Now, anytime you're looking at how much something costs, you're looking at the unit rate, so my gas cost, and you usually multiply by how many of those units you're actually purchasing. So I would have my gas cost times the 11.43 gallons that I actually need to purchase has to stay less than or equal to the $100 that I've chosen to be able to spend in the month. So I could spend the full $100 or I could spend less than that. And this calculation right here shows exactly what I actually do spend. So this amount has to be less than or equal to my budget. Now if I solve that inequality, all I really need to do is divide by that 11.43 on both sides. And that tells me that my gas cost has to be less than or equal to $8.75. So what is the maximum amount per gallon you can spend and still stay within your 50% budgeted amount? Right, so in this case, I am looking at the fact that I can spend at most $8.75 per gallon and still stay within budget. Now, is this cost per gallon realistic in today's market? So I want you to think about the gas prices that you have seen as you've been driving past gas stations. Think about what gas actually costs currently. Is this reasonable? Now, if you had to drive a lot further in a month, then this amount that you could actually afford would probably go down because you'd be buying more gas. So whatever amount that you came up with, I want you to try to answer this question after solving the inequality in question 4. Is the cost per gallon realistic in today's market? All right, I'll see you in class.